Welcome to December 4th and our fourth transmission. Today I'm going to show you a quick tool that is called thought field techniques. It's a tapping technique where we tap on different points on the body connected to our whole energetic system. And the purpose of this tapping is to go through intense emotions, often uncomfortable emotions, not to take them away, but to be able to stay with them and to release layer by layer. So for example, if you are experiencing deep anxiety or slight anxiety, we often use a scale between 0 and 10. So you can ask yourself, okay, so what level of anxiety or rage, or anger, jealousy, sadness, grief, you can just ask yourself from 0 to 10, what level of this emotion am I experiencing right now? And then that is the awareness part. So, okay, so there is an emotion present in my body. And then you can use this technique to start tapping. So without going much further into the hows and whys, let's just go straight to the technique to make this video not so long. And I will show you where the tapping points are. So the first step, number 1, is to be aware that there is an emotion, uncomfortable emotion present within your body. And it can also be physical, that you feel sick or have a headache or any physical emotion or just a feeling, or thought patterns that are just looping. And then you try to locate it in the body. So where is this feeling in my body? Sometimes it's in the throat, sometimes it's in the back of our heads, sometimes it's in our stomach, or it's in the heart. So then you locate it. And then you either visualize it or you can just feel it. So it's about making it as strong as possible. So it's not this technique that you try to think positive or something. No, we're going to honor the emotion that is there. That is the whole point. So you try to make it as strong as possible. You can either play videos in your head, with situations that would trigger this emotion, or if it's in the specific situation that you're in, you can use it immediately. I have my dog here today, so she will bark because she's tied to a tree, poor thing. She will have a long walk afterwards. So anyway, we start. We have our hands, and on our hands we have points. So these are starting points or ending points on a circuit that you will start tapping. So the tapping then is just like ripple effects in water, and then it sets into motion a harmonizing process, a balancing process of the present emotion. So these tapping points, the first one that I want to show you is between this, I don't know the word in English, but between those two, and you go about 1 centimeter down. This is the universal tapping point. And then you just use your 2 or 3 fingers, and then you start tapping while having the emotion in your body. You feel the emotion and you start tapping. So this is the first point. And you can tap as many times as 50. You don't have to count, you just sit there and tap and focus on the emotion. And also sometimes the connected thought patterns. And then it's connected to a second tapping point, which is here on the cleavage. So if you choose this side of your body, then you tap on this side. You tap on this hand and on this side. So then you have here, down here is like a point in here before it goes down, so it's in the corner here, a soft spot, and then you tap there. So then you tap like 10 to 15 times here and 50 times here. So you just alternate between those 2 tapping points while all the time breathing and focusing on the emotion that you have present in your body. So when you have worked on one emotion, usually another one will pop up, just like the principle that I was talking about earlier, that when you release one emotion, it's like the cork popping up in the water, then a new one and a new one will come. So you just use the same technique, usually in the same sequence if you start with, for example, anger or sadness, let's say it's a form of sadness, then usually it will pop, and when you do this algorithm a couple of times, then usually the emotion changes, and sometimes you can then realize that, oh wow, I feel really angry right now, and then there's the anger you deal with. And then when the anger is gone, you go perhaps back into sadness, or you back into shame, for example. That's the shame is usually always in the lower levels, really underneath, in the core. And under there, often we find lack of self-love, really, you know, not loving ourselves or not feeling that we have any value. All of these deep belief systems that sit really, really in the core of our traumas. So just stay present with whatever comes and work with that emotion until there is nothing more left. And then you can continue the next day or at another point where you realize that, oh, wow, I'm feeling this again, because sometimes you just need to go deeper and deeper, layer by layer. So the second algorithm is the trauma algorithm. I don't think that the labels are accurate always, because I use them both in tandem. So I would use both the universal technique, that is tapping on the hand, and I will also use the trauma technique, the algorithm, for anything. So it depends on what you feel most comfortable with, really, and what kind of space you are in. If you're sitting on the bus, or if you are in school, or if you are at work, it would be easier for you to use this one. But if you are in a private space where you can just be by yourself, I often find the trauma algorithm very effective. And so now I will show you the points. So between the eyebrows here, at the starting point of both eyebrows, is the point. So you use 3 fingers and you start tapping between the eyebrows like this. And you just find the pace that is best for you. And you start tapping 10 to 20 times. And then you move to underneath your eye, on the flat area below the eye. And again, if you choose, when you choose side, you stick to that side. So if you tap under your right eye, then you continue. The next point is outside. You can go, you stretch out your hand with your thumb like this, and then you go in, and then you get the point. It's underneath your armpit here. There's like a soft spot, and then either you can tap like this, or you use this hand and you do like this. So you just tap with all of your fingers on the side. It's not one point, it's more like a little bit of an area. And then you go to the same point as we did earlier, the harmonizing point here. So in this algorithm, we have 4 points. We have 4 points, and we tap 10 to 20 times approximately on each point. All the while having the emotion present within our bodies. That's the whole point. So when you are on that frequency, you tell your body, so this is the emotion, this is the feeling, this is the thought pattern that I need to work with. So it's important that the emotion is present. If it's not present and you want to work with this technique without having it present in your body, then you close your eyes and you go into a situation where this emotion would usually be triggered. This is the way you can work with it without actually being in the situation. Okay, so I will do the sequence for you once more. Between the eyebrows, underneath the eye, and then on the side, or you can use this hand, and then finally here on the chest. And then you just continue doing this technique, continue doing it, and you ask yourself the question in the beginning: which level, which intensity is this emotion right now? And perhaps it's a 5, perhaps it's an 8, perhaps it's a 10. And then all the while you stick with the emotion, you locate it in your body, and then you just follow it, because it will probably move. It's an energy, everything is energy, so it moves, starts moving. Maybe it starts in your stomach, it goes up to your heart, maybe suddenly it's in your head. You just follow it. And you can also look into if it has colors. All of these, looking into it is for the purpose of focusing, to helping the body really know which emotion, which frequency it's working with. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you today. It's super effective, especially on kids, and of course also on grown-ups, but this doesn't need much language. So you just speak the language of the heart and emotions, and so anyone can really do it, and you don't even have to speak the same language. So it's also used a lot in post-traumatic stress disorder, when you treat people that have experienced war, and sometimes there is communication challenges, and then it's a super tool to use for anyone who is experiencing any kind of emotional trauma. So I hope this helps, and that you can use it to go through the process with more ease and grace, because there will definitely be waves of emotions coming up for you to process and nurture yourself. So I will see you again very soon. Have a beautiful day, everyone.